Hi there, how are you? I want to share a personal story with you. In my life, I have this crisis related to a girl in Belarus whom I am in deep love with. But this relationship, which lasted for nearly 10 years, ended in a very bad way, and we don't communicate with each other in a very painful way. I think both of us love each other, but the situation can't be done. So we were separated for a while, and suddenly she sent me a question. Are you following what happens between Israel and Palestine? No, she said Israel and Hamas. I was surprised. Yes, but what about it? When we started this conversation, I found that most people in Belarus stand for Israel. I explained the situation and I told her about some information that she didn't know before. I was surprised that all this ignorance about the history of the Palestinian issue is in the Western and West Eastern countries. After this, I was in a phone call with one of my friends whom I respect so much. Russian friend, lives in Egypt and very fond of Egyptian history, and this what made us friends. She came with me in so many of my historian excursions, and she is so deeply fond of Egyptian civilization. And in one of our conversation, I asked her, what do you think about what happens in Palestine? And I was surprised that she was trying to avoid answering. I repeated the question. She said, I don't want to discuss this, but Hamas started everything. This was very strange to me. You should know better. You are my friend. I know your mentality. I know that you are a cultural person. But what is it exactly when you are saying Hamas started it? What should this mean? Even if, let's agree that Hamas started this, although I'm against, but let's agree. Should this mean that the occupying forces should kill every Palestinian civilian? Should it be about revenge or justice? There are human rights. There are war crimes. By the way, you consider Hamas as a terrorist organization. Should the country be in the same law level as a terrorist organization? If they are a terrorist organization and they killed civilians, should the country kill all the other civilians? Should I show you the horrible videos showing the occupying soldiers dehumanize Palestinians? Naked Palestinians are being hit and spit on. Civilians, by the way, not Hamas. Should I show you videos of the occupying forces in the West Bank with no presence of Hamas at all, killing Palestinians, dehumanize them? Should I show you the videos of the Israeli leaders and their supporters leaders describing Palestinians as dogs and donkeys? Should I show you Israeli army using Palestinian civilians as shields? I'll show this to you.
One case caught on camera by an Israeli human rights group appears to show Israeli soldiers forcing a Palestinian to go with them as they searched house to house in the West Bank town of Nablus. Another alleged victim who spoke to the BBC was just 11 years old.
They had their weapons pointed at me. I was so afraid that the soldiers might do what they threatened, take me to jail or shoot me.
Well, earlier I spoke to Jessica Montel, Executive Director of the Israeli human rights group B'Tselem, and asked her if she was surprised by the pictures.
Well, the incident is particularly unique because it's the first time that we're seeing photographs of Palestinians being forced to perform these military tasks. It's not the first time that we've taken testimonies from Palestinians. In fact, over the past year, we've taken about 4 different incidents we've documented of Palestinians who have been in one way or another recruited, forcefully made to accompany troops, enter houses ahead of Israeli soldiers.
I was surprised at the ages of some of these people involved in these allegations, a 15-year-old, a 24-year-old and an 11-year-old. That seems quite extraordinary.
Yes, and it's the first time, 11-year-old girl, a little girl, I also was quite shocked.
Even children. Wasn't this the plea of bombing the Palestinian civilians, that Hamas are using civilians as shields? Should the armies do the same? Should I show you the Israeli soldiers wearing t-shirts were written that when you are shooting one pregnant lady, you are killing two with one bullet, of course? This is not what started this. Should I tell you about the occupying forces or the history of Palestine? Do you know anything about the history of Palestine? When it became Israel, not Palestine? Do you know anything about Balfour's Promise? Do you know anything about what happened after the war in 1948 and the displacement of the Palestinians and the massacre happened? Did you see the documentary about what happened in Tantura?
כמה אתה חושב אנשים הרגת ככה?
ספרתי. לא יכול לדעת בחיי. היה לי מקלע עם 250 כדורים. תראה, יריתי, נלחמתי כולם. אני לא יכול לספור.
היו חבר'ה שלקחו את הלוויורים ורדפו אחרי חבר'ה ושרפו אותם. זה היה משהו זוועתי וזה אסור לספר, אני לא אדבר על זה, כי זה יכול להיות סקנדל שלם בעניין הזה.
היו המון הרוגים ערבים, והם היו זרוקים כמו זבל.
What is this? What am I speaking about? Search for the UN Security Council's resolutions that weren't obeyed by Israel at all. The most famous one, of course, is 242, which says that Israel is occupying all the lands after 1967 and should leave these lands immediately. The West Bank, one of them. Part of them, sorry. And where is Hamas? Should I tell you that Hamas is just located in Gaza? They aren't in West Bank, they aren't any other place in Palestine, but despite there are 65 laws in Israel against Arabs, killing, raping, and dehumanization of Palestinians happens daily basis in the West Bank with no presence of Hamas. But they started it. Can you calculate the number of years starting from 1917, 1948, 1967? Can you imagine how many Palestinians was killed and dehumanized and prevented even from walking in the streets of his country? And you are saying that Hamas started this? What is it about the right of Israel to defend herself? Who is defending himself from whom? The occupying forces are to defend herself from the occupied. The oppressor should defend himself from the oppressed. Who has the right to defend himself? The oppressed, the occupied, or the oppressor and occupying? Try to read. Don't consider my words as a guarantee. Search. See how many resolution wasn't obeyed by Israel. Using propaganda shouldn't deceive you. You are a cultural person. And yes, a lot of people now on the social media these days testify that they were offered to speak for Israel for money, to stop saying anything about Palestine. A lot of testimonies you can find yourself. Why? Because now they are in a real problem because of the social media. Before, they just used the news and they controlled all the news all over the world. But now, to control the social media, they are trying. They are blocking people from speaking about Palestine. You know this? What is it? How come that you don't see this? Now, all the media, all the propaganda, all the news are to speak from the Israeli point of view. And who is to speak for the Palestinians? Can the Palestinians speak for themselves? No. They can't go outside Gaza. Even the reporters in Gaza are being killed. Do you know about Shireen Abu Akleh? Do you know how the Israelis killed her? And after this, they denied killing her. And nowadays, they, yes, admitted, but after the huge denial and after investigations, and this is the usual of Israel, to deny what they commit, and after a while in silence they admit. But the denial that you are remembering, you trust the Israeli words. All their walls are deceiving. They deny they bombed the hospitals and schools and mosques, and now they doesn't pay shit. No, they admit that they bombed the Japanese refugee.
All those Palestinian refugees who are in that Jabalia refugee camp, Israel still went ahead and dropped a bomb there, attempting to kill this Hamas commander, knowing that a lot of innocent civilians, men, women, and children, presumably would be killed. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's not what you're hearing, Wolf. We're focused on this commander, again, who you'll get more data who this man was, killed many, many Israelis. We're doing everything we can. It's a very complicated battle space. There could be infrastructure there. There could be tunnels there. We're still looking into it, and we'll give you more data as the hour moves ahead.
But you know that there are a lot of refugees, a lot of innocent civilians, men, women, and children in that refugee camp as well, right?
This is the tragedy of war, Wolf. I mean, as you know, we've been saying for days, move south. Civilians that are not involved with Hamas, please move south.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get a little bit more information. You knew there were civilians there. You knew there were refugees, all sorts of refugees, but you decided to still drop a bomb on that refugee camp, attempting to kill the Hamas commander. By the way, was he killed?
I can't confirm yet. There'll be more updated. Yes, we know that he was killed. About the civilians there, we're doing everything we can to minimize. I'll say it again. Sadly, they are hiding themselves within civilian population. And again, we are doing this stage by stage, and we're going to go after every one of these terrorists who was involved in that heinous attack on the 7th of October.
They don't care. Let's kill them. Yes, we did this because there was one leader there. Killed hundreds and thousands? No, it doesn't differ. They claim that using human as a shield, while Israel, who is using civilians as a shield, is the cause of bombing everyone else, every civilian. Okay, let's imagine that Hamas was hiding in Israel. Would the Israeli strategy be the same? Would they bomb the Israelis too? Or they will have other solutions? Imagine that one terrorist is in St. Petersburg, hiding between the people. Should we incinerate St. Petersburg? Bomb St. Petersburg? Imagine that they were in Los Angeles. Should we bomb Los Angeles? Should we prevent even food and water from going there? Should we bomb even hospitals and refugees? You are my friend and you will stay my friend because I respect your love to the Egyptian history and your cultural mind. But you should know better, my dear. May Allah be with Gaza. May Allah be with Palestine. May Allah be with us.